Good morning. If you're catching the replay, I'll always say hashtag the replay, hashtag replay, because I always like to know that you're here. It just helps me keep up with who's here. And I like to see names because I like to get to know y'all just like you like to get to know me. Hello, guys. Look at my hair. What is, I don't know. I'm just trying something new today because my hair is a train wreck. Hang on just a minute. All right. How are y'all this morning? Y'all have some really get down, get funky, get loose words to say today. Okay. We're definitely going to church today. I'm just telling you, we're going to church. So lock in your seatbelt, put on your Sunday dress, put on your, I don't know, because we are definitely going to church today. I'm going, we got a couple of minutes before 7. So I just got a message that I'm rescuing a bunny back. And so the lady's supposed to bring me the bunny today. So I've been talking to her all morning about the bunny, bad situation. So I kind of been, my brain is kind of all messed up. Yeah, it is about to pour here. And it always like it's not pouring right now. It's the weather will wait until I have to go out there and do animals, and then it'll come a downpour. It happens every time. Oh, I need to turn my curler on now. Okay, I've never laughed so hard in my life. But Monday, I got ready, I went live, and then I got this message. I don't know, it was probably 10 o'clock from Diane, and she said, Judy, you forgot to put your watch on. And I had left my watch, and I was like, I am cracking up. Y'all are so used to my routine that y'all notice when I don't put my watch on or my mascara. And I love the fact that y'all, usually it's just Diane. Diane knows Judy very well. And so she can go, Judy, you totally forgot your lipstick. You were preaching so much that you totally forgot to put your lipstick on. And it just makes me laugh because she knows me. She knows me so well. But my watch, I forgot to charge it last night. So you see it's red. So my watch is charging. I know I always put my watch on first, but I'm not putting my watch on this morning because it is dead. So grab your protein drink. It's 7 o'clock, and we've got to get this party started because I might be a long-winded preacher today. Okay. The past, it hadn't been 24 hours. I'm going to say 15 hours. I have really been racking my brain on how to talk about what I want to talk about and making sure that my heart and my mind and my soul is in the right place to prepare this talk. And last night I couldn't sleep, and I was like, okay, I'm going to say it this way. No. I'm going to say it this way. And I am the type of person that I never practice what I talk about on my lives. I just let God speak through me, and whatever comes out of my mouth comes out of my mouth. And so this particular morning today, I have been trying to practice what I'm about to say. And so I'm going to read to you. I am not calling out names, but it is important that we all hear this message today. Yesterday at 11 o'clock, so it's been since 11 o'clock, I got this message from one of my followers. And so I'm going to read it to you. And then it's important for us to break this down to see what this person's trying to say to me. And it's important for me to talk about my feelings on it. Okay. I was disappointed in your reaction to Larry when you were making the breakfast casserole. What she's talking about is last week I went live making a breakfast casserole, and Larry walked in the door, and there was eggs everywhere, like 18 eggs, and in the casserole dish was eggs, so it was yellow. And Larry walked in and said, "You making cookies?" And then I said, "Does it look like I'm making cookies?" I was like, "Look, in here's yellow. Do you see anything? Do you see anything around here that would be yellow?" And I was kind of correcting him, trying to make him think what was yellow and what I was cooking. Okay, so that's what she's talking about. So she said, "I was disappointed in your reaction to Larry when you were making the breakfast casserole. I bet he felt really stupid, as well as I was embarrassed for him. He has dementia, so his mind is like a child. So he probably didn't even think about looking at the 18 eggshells. I feel like all you had to say was, 'No, I am not making cookies right now. I'm making a breakfast casserole.' Then I feel you made fun of him by telling Shane about it. It scares me to think about what you might say to one of the handicapped people that come to your farm, or even a child. Um, just because it's obvious to a person with dementia, it is not." Okay, let's break this down. Okay, first of all, before I say anything, the first thing that came to my mind, I'm a human being. Okay? The first thing that came to my mind was I was ready to rip her a new one. But this is how I responded. I'm not really sure what to say. I need a minute to gather my thoughts, but I would like to speak to you on the phone to discuss this matter. Listen to me, y'all. Listen to me. Anytime someone says something that's negative to you, do not respond right away. You've got to pause, because you're allowed, if you just talk right when someone says something like that, you're going to make a mistake, and you're going to have diarrhea of the mouth, and you're going to explode, and then you're going to have regrets about what you said. So when someone says something like that, it is so important to pause. And I told her I needed a minute, because I needed to gather my thoughts, because in my brain, I was like, I need to break this down, because my first reaction was I was mad. Okay, now let's stop for just a minute. I hope I can get ready and do this at the same time. But when I really get into preaching, it's like I can't do two things at one time. All right. Do you know how, like, people in the church that are leaders, like a preacher, a Sunday school teacher, people like that, in the Bible, it talks about they're held to a higher standard because they're in the church, okay? It talks about that in the Bible. I feel like y'all, and I'm talking about every single one of y'all. I'm not talking about just this lady. I'm talking about every single person that follows me on Facebook or YouTube. Y'all hold me to a higher standard, because I'm in the public eye. But y'all, I have to tell y'all something. I ain't a preacher. I ain't a counselor. I'm not a doctor. I don't have all the PhD behind my name. I'm Judy. I'm Judy. I'm no different from you, okay? I make mistakes where I try to teach you how to dance and you how to improve yourself. I do that because I continue every single day to try to make improvements in myself. I am not perfect. I make mistakes every single day. I am a sinner. My brain is just like yours. Just because I am on social media and I don't consider myself a big page. Like, I do have a good bit of followers on YouTube and Facebook, but I'm still a small channel. I'm not Jason and Brooke and Lester. I'm at a much smaller scale than them. I need you to understand, do not put me on a pedestal. I'm not perfect. There's going to be things that come out of my mouth that are a complete train wreck. Okay, so saying that, when she said that, I paused. Okay, I don't know if I can get ready. I'm going to try. So I said, okay, Aunt Judy, it's time to break it down. So I took sentence by sentence. I was just, okay, let me say this real quick, because I think that y'all might do this too. Do you ever, like, someone says something to you and you're like, okay, so I read the message. She just called me a piece of crap daughter. Like, because your first reaction is mad, right? So you're like, you're interpreting what her message was, and you're like, she just said I was a train wreck. She just said that I was the worst. I can't find my brush. She just said I was the worst daughter in the whole wide world. She don't know what she's talking about. And then, so you let that message totally train wreck you, because I first got mad and was like, I felt defensive because I'm like, I'm a piece of crap daughter. Okay, did she say I was a piece of crap daughter? No, that's what I said, because that's what I heard in her message. So I went to, and I didn't just go to, I'm a piece of crap daughter, but I'm an elder. She's calling me, she's going to report me for elderly abuse. Like, I went to La La Land, complete La La Land, with this message that she said to me. Okay. And that's what we do sometimes. Sometimes someone says something to us and we go straight to La La Land. Well, I didn't just stop at La La Land. I went to Egypt and Jupiter and all these Mars. I went to all these places because I went from her saying that to me telling myself that I was a piece of crap daughter and that I have no business being on social media. I went to Mars. I did. I was like, I'm not going live anymore, because everyone thinks that I treat Larry terrible, and I'm not doing it no more. I'm giving up social media. I can't handle this stress. All day long, I was in planet Mars. Okay. And I went there very quickly. Like, I read the message, got mad, called myself a piece of crap daughter, and then went to Mars and said, I'm not doing social media anymore. Yeah. Okay. Let's stop for just a minute. Do you do that? Do you do that? When someone says something to you, do you go to planet Mars? Because I do. I do. Every single time. Every single time someone, I don't know if you call it attack or someone disagrees with you, you go to I don't know if you're like me, but I go to planet Mars. I go and interpret everything that she said and go freaking crazy. And that's why I have learned to pause. Because if I don't pause, I would have ripped her a new one. And she would have been like, yeah, dang. Aunt Judy ain't who she says she is. She's a train wreck. So I paused and I was like, okay, Judy, now that you're in Mars, it's time to get on the rocket and come back to the Earth, to planet Earth. Okay. Because you have went straight to Mars. Okay. I mean, I had myself fixing to delete my pages. I am not joking. I was about to delete Facebook and YouTube. That's how far outer space I was, okay? So then I took a breath and I paused, okay? If you don't hear nothing else I say today, that is your takeaway. When something happens like this, you are to pause because you're going to be in planet Mars, okay? And you're going to rip that lady a new one and you don't mean it, okay? So if you don't hear anything else I say today, you learn the word pause. So once I realized that I was in Mars, I was like, okay, all right, pause, Judy. Go break it down. Go break it down, Judy. All right, so let's take it sentence by sentence. I was disappointed in your reaction to Larry when you were making the breakfast casserole. That is a feeling that she felt, and it's an opinion. Okay? She was disappointed in me. Why? And let's stop right there. She and you, I'm talking about you too. I'm not just talking about this lady because y'all hold me to a higher standard too. Okay. These people, because I'm a creator and I'm in the public eye, you guys hold me as a standard as if I'm the freaking preacher. Okay. And that I make no mistakes. Like I am this perfect person. Okay. So I feel like when she was disappointed in the reaction to Larry when you were making the breakfast casserole, okay, right there is she is holding me in a higher standard because she's telling me that she's disappointed. Is that wrong? Is it wrong for her to say that? No. People are going to be disappointed in me all the time because I am not this perfect person. Okay? I'm going to make mistakes. So I was able to come in the rocket back to Earth. In the first sentence, I was like, I'm glad she said that. I went from being mad at her to going, okay, I'm glad she said that. I'm glad she said that she was disappointed in me because it makes me think about the way I treat Larry. And then I went, okay, the next thing is I bet he felt really stupid as well as a feeling of embarrassment. Okay, I can so see that, y'all. When I'm sitting here live on freaking YouTube and Facebook, and he comes in and asks me if I'm making cookies, and I'm like, does it look like I'm making cookies? There's yellow. She's right. That lady's right. He must have felt so stupid when I said that. And when I was able to pause and go, okay, I must have made him feel so stupid. Okay, but let's stop for just a minute. Okay? When it comes to a family relationship, okay? You find yourself like where if let's just say someone that didn't know me walked in and said, "Are you making cookies?" I would have probably said, "No, I'm making a breakfast casserole." But when you live with someone and you're around them all the time, you're kind of a smarty butt. You know what I mean? Like to your spouse or your mother or dad or kids, you're kind of a smarty butt. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? You're kind of like with your husband. You know, you're kind of a smarty pants. It's kind of how what you do. It's just what you do. You're a smarty pants. You know, like Shane can say, I don't know. Shane and I are always a smarty pants to each other, but it's almost what the way we flirt with each other. Like we're smart butts to each other, but it's just what we do because that's just how we communicate. He'll ask a dumb question and I say, does it look like, whatever. We're smarty pants to each other. My dad and I, like, I'm a smarty pants. I think me saying that is kind of what you do. Okay. So let's go to the next sentence. He has dementia, so his mind is like a child. So he probably didn't even think about looking at the 12 eggshells. Okay, let me just say this. Yes, Larry has dementia. But y'all have to understand that Larry doesn't have dementia where he knows what an egg is. Larry doesn't forget anything. Larry can communicate really well. He can look and know that that is not cookies. Larry's dementia is on the front part of his brain. So in other words, his reasoning is wrong. Okay? As a matter of fact, last night, I'm scrolling through another application and Wendy Williams popped up. Have y'all watched her documentary? She has the same dementia as Larry. Okay. Oh, so yes, he has dementia, but you have to understand if you don't know the different types of dementia, you automatically think that he forgets everything and he's going to get lost when he gets in the car and all that stuff. That's what you think because that is a generalized dementia. Okay. Larry doesn't have that. Larry knows how to take his medicine. He doesn't mess up. He knows who we are. He knows our names. He knows where he's at. He don't forget anything. Okay. So like a lot of times I try to exercise his brain and make him think because the doctor told us if he doesn't use his brain, he's going to lose it. So oftentimes when he says something that's kind of weird, I make him exercise his brain to figure out what I'm doing. So when I said that to him, I'm trying to make him think because I'm afraid that he's going to lose his mind. So I constantly challenge him with thinking because I don't want him to get to the point where he doesn't know who I am or things like that. So he has to exercise his brain. Okay. Okay, then she said, I feel like you made fun of him when you told Shane. So what she's talking about is once Larry left the room, I don't know, 10 minutes later, Shane walked in and I said to Shane, I said, I don't know exactly what I said verbatim, but I said something like, Larry came in and asked if I was making cookies. And I said, does it look like I'm making cookies? Okay, stop for just 1 second. Okay, stop for just a second. When someone moves into your house, I found my brush. When let's just talk about your kids go off to college and you and your spouse are in the house by yourself for the first time and you're like, oh my God, I don't have to wait up on the kids anymore. I don't have to wonder if they're being a train wreck out there. Like it's like I can breathe when the kids go off to college and it's you and your spouse. And then for 4 years, you and your spouse live together. And you don't have the stress of they come home at midnight because you go to bed at 8 o'clock and you're not being woken up and all this stuff. And then they get finished with college and then they move home and you're like, this is a train wreck. When someone comes to live in your house, when you're used to living by yourself, I'm going to tell you right now, if you've not been in my shoes, it is difficult. It is difficult for anyone to move into your house. I don't care how much you love them. I love my child with all my heart. And when he came home from college, you know, mama's heart's happy when everyone's around, you know? So like him coming back home made me happy. But when he got here, I was like, oh my God. Because he would come in at 1 o'clock in the morning. And then when they'd walk in the door, the dogs would be barking. And then me and Shane would wake up and we'd be in a bad mood because he's coming in the door at 1 o'clock in the morning. Like, it is hard to move someone into your house. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's your parent. I don't care if it's hard. Okay. And let me just go to another extent. When you live with someone that is different from you, okay, when you're around it 24/7, it is so difficult. It is probably one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. It is so much stress on me to it is so much stress to shuffle, trying to take care of a parent, trying to take care of a farm, try to be a wife, trying to keep balance. Oh my God. There's days I feel like I'm sinking. So Shane is the same way. So oftentimes Shane gets home from work and I'm about to explode. Okay. I just need to talk. And Shane comes from work. I'm like, you're not going to believe what he did today. Or Shane has him, let's just say on a Sunday, Shane's with him all the day. Shane gets home and he's like, you're not going to believe what he did today. We vent to each other, because if we don't vent to each other, we're going to be in the mental hospital. Okay. When you live with someone that you have to take care of, it is difficult. And if you don't vent to each other, you're going to go nuts. So often, Shane and I have to vent to each other to get us through the day. He'll go, you're not going to believe what my mom did. You're not going to believe what my dad did. I mean, Shane vents about his parents to me, and they don't even live with us. So me telling Shane what Larry did is a way of me releasing all the stress that I am under, because Shane is my sounding board. Shane and I vent to each other all the time. He comes home and tells me about work. He comes home and I tell him about my day. It's what we do. It's part of having a relationship. So like me venting to Shane is just what we do. Okay. This is where it this is where it went wrong. It scares me to think what you might say to one of those handicapped people, or even a child, were to ask. Seriously. Seriously. I'm going to tell you, even though the message sent me to Mars, that one statement, I can't get out of Mars. I can't. Because I have broken that one thing down 1,000,000 times in every way possible. And I'm like, seriously? Seriously right now? Like, have you maybe, but let's just say this for just a minute. Maybe this lady is in Larry's shoes. Maybe this lady is 75 years old with early stages of dementia. Maybe she had to move in with her kids. Maybe she feels Larry's pain. and she's hurting with Larry because she's going through the exact same thing Larry's going through. Like, I have to be mindful of what this lady, but see, the problem is I don't know. I don't know what she's going through. So I have to, it's a guessing game for me. It's a guessing game. And I'll just tell you. So when I asked her, I said, I want to talk to you. Okay, listen, I'm probably one of those weird creators, okay? Because no other creator, if it, I'm gonna tell you right now, if another creator, and I know these creators, right, that are bigger channels, if that message came across to another channel, they would have never responded to that message. They would have blocked her, or they would have made fun of her, or like they would have not even had a conversation with. I wanted to talk to this lady. I care what she thinks. I care what she thinks about me. And honestly, I'm glad she sent me the message because it did wake me up. It did. It did. And the bad thing about it was she read my message when I said, "Can I have your phone number because I want to talk to you?" Well, she read the message and she didn't respond. So I waited like, I don't know, an hour or so because I thought, well, maybe she's at work. I don't know how old she is. She never responded. So I sent her a message. I said, "Can we talk?" And you know what she did? She blocked me. And I was like, wow, you going to rip me a new one and then, and then block me? Okay, she didn't rip me a new one. See, I'm exaggerating. Okay, so, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But when she said, "It concerns me that I'm afraid you're going to talk to the handicapped people like you talk to your dad." Okay, stop. Stop. Okay. If you know how you talk to your parents differently the way you talk to, it's not right, but like if you're trying to get your mom to go to the doctor and she don't want to go, you're going to lie into her, right? But if there's me and I'm I don't want to go to the doctor, you're not going to talk to me the way you talk to your mom. You know what I mean? Because you're going to be a little bit more tender to me because I'm not your mom. But your mom, you're going to rip her a new one and go, "No, your butt is getting in the car and you're going to the doctor. If you don't, I'm calling an ambulance and I'm taking you to the ER. So which do you want to do? Do you want to get in the car or do you want me to call an ambulance?" That's how you, and it's not right, but that's how we do. We talk to our family members that way, but we're not. Do you think for a second, Justin is blind. If Justin walked into my kitchen and said, "Are you making cookies?" Do you think I would look at him and go, "Does it look like I'm making cookies?" No. Okay, the battery is yellow. So do you see anything around here that would be yellow that I would be making? And there's eggs everywhere. Okay. So I would never talk to a child or a handicapped person the way I talk to Larry. Larry is my stepdad. I live with him 24/7. He is up my tail 24/7. I say that, but you know what I'm saying? See how I just said that. I wouldn't say Kayla's up my tail 24/7, but I'll say my dad's up my tail 24/7 because he's my dad. That's how we talk. You know, it's not that it's not right, but it's just what we do. Like we can, like I could rip Shane a new one, but if you rip Shane a new one, I'm gonna be mad. But I can do it. You know, it's a double standard, but that's what we do. Okay. So that one sentence I do not agree with at all. I have broke it down to try to figure out what she's saying. I'm like, if she's followed me long enough, she knows daggum good and well my heart and my love for kids and handicapped people. Okay. I treat my dad differently than I treat other people. I treat Shane differently than I treat other people. It's just what we do. And I don't think that I'm any different from any of you. But I think that I'm held on a higher standard because I'm on social media. Okay. Just because, the last sentence, just because it's obvious to one, a person with dementia, it is not. Okay. Again, I'm thankful that she sent me this message. I wasn't calling to rip her a new one. I was calling to thank her. I was calling to thank her for sending me that message because I didn't realize my attitude. And it made me break down my attitude towards Larry. I'm like, why am I ugly to him? It made me think. So I was calling her to say, thank you for bringing that to my attention because I'm not perfect. I make a ton of mistakes. Now, did I think that right off the bat? No, I went to Mars, but I paused and I broke it down and I had to think about my intentions because I was like, well, why did I say that to him? Why didn't I just say, no, I'm making a breakfast casserole? Why didn't I do that? I had to think about it. Like I had to think about why do I make him think? And I'm going to tell you from the bottom of my heart, I am not a mean person. I am not. I am kind and loving. I moved my stepdad into my house 6 years ago. If I didn't love or if I was a piece of crap daughter, I would have left him at home. I wouldn't have cared. I drove him to freaking Birmingham for 28 days. If I was a piece of crap daughter, but see, stop for just a minute. Because after you break something down, then you have to return to what they said and go, what are the facts? Did she tell me I was a piece of crap daughter? No. I interpreted what she said as I was a piece of. She never said that I was a terrible daughter. She never said that I was a POS. She never said that I had no business being on social media because I'm a train wreck. She never said any of that. But see, what happens is when someone sends you that and you go to Mars, well, then what happens is you start interpreting all these things that are not being said. Those are not facts that she actually said. Those are myths that I created from what she said because I interpreted her that she thinks I'm a terrible daughter and I have no business being around handicapped people or kids. I went to Mars. That is not what she said. She did not say that. She said she was concerned that I would do the same thing to the handicapped people. And I guess I can see why she would think that because I said that to Larry. But see, sometimes if she would have called me on the phone and actually talked to me, she would have understood why I make Larry think. She would have understood. But see, what happens is if you don't live here and you don't know what the doctors say and you don't know how they say we've got to exercise his brain, she didn't know that. So like she made an assumption of what she saw on a video. Well, I'm going to tell you something. If you watch me for 30 days like I tell you to and don't judge me by one video, you know my heart. You know dang good and well how much I love the group home that comes to my farm. I literally stop everything I'm doing. I don't get paid to bring them to my farm. I take time out of my day to develop to these adults, to teach them. I take the time out of my week, one day out of my week, to allow them to come to my farm so that they can get grants to keep their facility going. Do you think I mean, am I really that bad? No. If you sat and watched me for 30 days, you would know how much I love my dad. You would know. But you know what? I don't want you to ever feel like that you can't message me if you think that I'm being ugly to Larry or whatever you think, or being ugly to my animals. Like, hey, we'll talk about it. But see, other creators would have just blocked her, not responded, but that's not who I am. I care about what you think. And if me and that lady would have had a conversation, we would have come to an agreement. I would have thanked her. And I know she blocked me on Facebook, but I hope from the bottom of my heart that she listens to this live, because I was calling her to thank her. Because often, even though we treat our families differently, it's good to be reminded, because we don't always see ourselves the way we are to our parents. We don't always see ourselves like that. Okay? So it's good sometimes to be reminded that what we look like to other people talking to our parents. I was calling her to thank her. So if she's watching this YouTube video, maybe she hasn't blocked me. I don't know. But I was calling to thank you. Because I guess I come across in that video, and I went and deleted that video. I did. Because I was afraid other people would see what she saw. And that's not who I want to be. That's not who I want you to see. But you have to understand that when you think like that, you're holding me to a higher standard. Because if that person would have broke down me doing that to Larry, like she had a reaction. Her first reaction to me saying that to Larry was she was mad. Just like I was mad when she sent it to me. That is a normal human reaction. But what is not good is responding out of anger. That is why you have to pause, because we are human beings. So if she would have broke down the conversation with Larry, she may have gotten to mindfulness and been able to go, well, maybe Judy's doing that to exercise his brain. I think if she would have slowed down and she would have paused, I think she knows her Aunt Judy better than that. I think she reacted out of anger and then went to Mars and said, I'm worried about the way you treat the handicapped people at your farm and the kids. I think she was in Mars when she said that. I really do. Because I know the lady's been following me for a while because we've talked before. And the conversation prior to this conversation was she was so thankful to Jason and Brooke for introducing me. That was like, I don't know, a couple of months ago. So I know she knows who her Aunt Judy is. And I know she knows my heart and my love. But I think she didn't pause when she felt like she needed to say that to me. She didn't pause and break it down. She just went to Mars with it. And then she just kept going. And I'm worried about the way you treat handicapped people. Really? Okay. But see, if I would have replied to her when I was in Mars, I would have said the same thing to her. And then it wouldn't have been pretty. But when you pause and go, I need to break down what she's saying and I need to write down the facts and the myths because I'm saying she's called me a POS daughter and she never called me that's not a fact. She did not say that. I interpreted it that way. So once you break it down, you have to go back and go, okay, what are the facts and what are the things that I'm making up in my brain? But I hope that she gets to see this because I wanted to take the time out of my day to talk to her because I care what she thinks about me. I do. I care what you think about me. And listen, there may be things that I do that that you're like, I cannot believe Aunt Judy said that. Yo, I am not a preacher. I am not a counselor. I am a human being just like you. Do you make mistakes? Yes. Do you say things you shouldn't say? Yes. Well, guess what? Me too. Me too. I'm a train wreck just like y'all. And every time that I get on here and talk, I talk about how I got to where I am today. And why do I do that? Because I have to wake up and remind myself who I am every day. Because every day I wake up, I don't want to get out of the bed. I want to lay and cry. I want to get off social media. There's times when I'm like, I just got to leave. I just got to leave and go just live by myself because I'm a terrible wife. And like, I go to outer space. I have to keep my head above water. And when I talk, and me and you talk this out, and this is what makes us dance. Because if I don't talk this out about what this lady said to me, I'm gonna be a train wreck. Why? Because first of all, I fight depression. That message right there sent me to like underwater, can't breathe. It sent me there. It did. But see, I'm smart enough to go, okay, are you going to rehab over this message? Like, what the heck, Judy? What the heck? But see, I'm smart enough and I have had enough counseling under my belt to know that I have to pause and I have to break it down because if I don't, oh, Judy's going to be in Mars for the next year. Because there was a time in my life where that message would have sent me to Mars for years. And it would have sent me to even to the point where I don't want to live no more. It would have sent me there. But see, I'm well enough now that those messages don't send me there. I'm smart enough to go, okay, I need to break this son of a gun down because right now I am in outer space. And I'm letting this message train wreck my day. So I need to break it down and figure out what the flip this lady is trying to tell me, you know? But you have to be, when you listen, I have said this, and saying this has got me in trouble a bunch. But opinions, I've said opinions don't matter. Okay? Why do I say opinions don't matter? I guess they do matter because she did make me slow down and think. So her opinion did matter. But a lot of times people's opinion take people, I don't know. I don't know if it takes everyone to outer space. Like there's all different types of personalities, right? So like there's some people that would go, F you. You know, there's some people that would go block. There's some people that would go, bye, Felicia. There's some people there's all different types of personalities, right? My personality, for someone that fights depression, you take me to, you do. So you have to be careful throwing around your opinions. You've got to be careful because you have no idea if this person's personality is by Felicia and never think another word about it, like it doesn't phase them. And then there's people like that have depression and people that are people pleaser. And when you say that you're worried about me with handicapped people, you send me to outer space. I wished I was a by Felicia person. I wish I could do that. Maybe I'll get stronger and learn how to say bye Felicia and just block them. But I'm not that person. Maybe I'll become that person as I grow. I don't know, but I'm not a bye Felicia person. Okay. And if y'all don't know what bye Felicia means, Lester, when people are ugly to Lester and Jamie on their page, he goes, bye Felicia, and blocks them because he thinks it's funny to say Felicia. I don't know where he got it from. I hadn't been following him long enough to know, but he just says bye Felicia and he's done with it. He would not ponder over this like me as a people pleaser. I'm going to ponder over that and go, what am I supposed to be learning from this? But I think that comes back from all the counseling that I have. I got a lot of counseling under my belt. So like I've learned to go, what is this person actually trying to say to me? Okay. Like what is this person? And I can see where these bigger pages get like that because you get a ton of opinions. A ton. And when people and I have made a couple of people mad at me because I said opinions don't matter. If you would sit here and if that person would break down what I'm saying when I say opinions don't matter instead of taking it personally, understand how many opinions come across my phone a day. Get in my shoes for one day, and then you'll quickly realize why opinions don't matter. I don't care who you are. It is like you get emails, you get letters, you get messages, you get text messages, and everyone throws their opinion around. And you shouldn't do this. You should do this. Da, 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 da. I'm like, and you're like, I'm just trying to keep my head above water. Like, I don't know. It's hard. Being a creator is very, very hard. So I today's lesson, I want to kind of, you see that I'm running late with getting ready because I'm running my trap. But I want to tell you this story. And I hope that this story, this is the wrong brush again. I hope this story will help shed some light on caregivers. Okay. My grandmother lived to be 99 years old. And when she got to the point where she really didn't need to live by herself, my grandmother had 3 kids, Helen, Jane, and Kenny. Helen has passed away from brain cancer. My mother passed away from choking on a hot dog. So the only person left is my Uncle Kenny. So it was kind of his responsibility to step up and take care of his mother. Well, my grandmother had a nice brick house, and I think she had 10 or 12 acres of land. And my uncle lived in a very old trailer that was falling apart. So moving my grandmother into their house was not the right thing to do. So my aunt and uncle moved in with my grandmother. Okay. I don't know how long. I'm going to guess. I wish I knew exactly. I don't know how long my grandmother lived once my aunt and uncle moved in with them. But I kept my grandmother 2 weeks, I got to let me back up. My grandmother was calling me on the phone, begging to come to my house because she was miserable living with my aunt and uncle. Well, as her granddaughter, I would listen to what she was telling me. And she would say, this is what she would say to me. She would say, that's my aunt. And my aunt's on here a lot. But she would say, Cheryl's mean to me. So she'd call me on the telephone and she'd go, Cheryl's mean to me. Can I come stay with you? Well, when my grandmother was my shining armor, okay? My grandmother was my best friend. So when my grandmother calls me on the phone and tells me that Cheryl's mistreating her, I'm going to flip my lid, right? I'm going to flip my lid. So I started keeping my grandmother 2 weeks out of the month. So, and I've said this before, but Vance, I had just gone through a divorce. I was living in a 2-bedroom apartment. Vance and my son in high school was in 1 bedroom. I was in the other bedroom. I had a king size bed, but my grandmother had to sleep with me. Okay. And so 2 weeks out of the month, well, I began to judge my aunt because of what my grandmother said. And things that my grandmother said to me was, my grandmother was a very religious lady, okay? My grandmother couldn't sing, okay? She couldn't carry a tune. That's where I get it from. She would tell me that she would sit in the kitchen, and my grandmother was very routine, okay? And when I tell you it was a little overboard with the religion, like it was like Bible study multiple times a day, prayer on your knees at 99 years old. Like we sing hymnals. She would get out and she would pray for the missionaries every day. Like that was my grandmother. So she began to tell me, she said, when I sing my hymnals in the kitchen, Cheryl tells me to shut up. And I was like, my aunt, oh my gosh, I got to the point where I hated my aunt, okay? And this is prior to her coming to live with me. I mean, it was just in the beginning stages, okay? And she's telling me that my aunt is telling her to quit singing, okay? And I'm thinking, my poor grandmother is trying to sing hymnals, and Cheryl busts up in her house and move in her house and then wants to tell my grandmother she can't sing the hymnals in the kitchen. Like, really? You moved in her house? Like I am in Mars, okay? I am in Mars listening to my grandmother tell me this, okay? I am like so mad at my aunt and uncle, okay? I'm mad at my uncle because he's allowing his wife to treat my grandmother this way. I'm just mad. And as a matter of fact, we called in a family meeting with my cousins. Jonathan and Samuel are Kenny and Cheryl's kids. We called in a meeting with all the grandkids with my grandmother at my house. Like all the grandkids came and sat down and listened to my grandmother talk about how she was mistreated by my aunt and uncle. And we were like, and Jonathan and Samuel, the kids of Kenny and Cheryl, were just like, I cannot believe that my mom is acting like this. Like we were like really, really in Mars. Okay. Because we didn't break it down to see what my grandmother was saying. We trusted every single word that was coming out of my grandmother's mouth. And she was telling us they're stealing my money. They're like, it was awful. And we believed every word she said. Then as time went on and she was coming to my house every 2 weeks, it became a train wreck. You remember in the beginning of this conversation when I said, when you allow someone to move in your house, I don't care who they are, it becomes very stressful. My grandmother was mean as a snake. My grandmother that was perfect Mother Mary was mean as a snake. And what would happen is she began to sing those hymnals in my kitchen. Okay. Okay. And so about 6 o'clock in the morning, Oh, what was that? What was that song she sang? I mean, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. You know, we're just trying to get up and get our marbles straight, and we hear, "He lives, I can face tomorrow." You know, we're like, "Mimo, it is 6 o'clock in the morning. He does live, but dear Jesus, come on, 6 o'clock in the morning." And I wanted to scream, "Shut up!" It was awful. And then there was this one situation that my grandmother dropped her pills in the middle of my bathroom. I didn't know which containers they went into. And my grandmother looks at me and she says, "Do not call Cheryl and ask where these pills go. Do not tell her that I dropped them in the floor." And I'm like, "Jeez, what the heck?" To make a long story short, my grandmother wasn't being abused by my aunt and uncle. Okay, she wasn't. When she moved in with me, as a matter of fact, she was in my bathroom one day, and she passed out in my bathroom, and I had to call 911. She was dead in my bathroom, and I called 911, and the ambulance got there. And when she came to, she goes, "There's nothing wrong with me. Judy made it up." And I'm like, "Made it up? Why would I make up that you just fell out in my bathroom?" But she had a pacemaker in. And so when she got to the ER, they checked her pacemaker and she died. And they told her she died. And she looked at me and she said, "I'm sorry for saying that you lied." You know, and I'm like, "You have no idea what you did to me. I was in outer space when you start telling me that I'm making the crap up." But I realized when I started keeping her that everything that she was saying wasn't necessarily the truth. And so I had myself hating my aunt and uncle for the longest time because I believed my grandmother, you know? And sometimes you have to understand that when you allow someone to move into your home, where used to, I would love to go to my grandmother's house and hear her in the kitchen going, "Here because he lives." You know, I'd be having my hands up and I'd be singing with her, you know, because it was kind of funny to me, okay? But when you live with her and she sings it every single morning at 6 o'clock in the morning, you want to scream, "Shut up." But see, that's what I'm trying to talk about, is because when you live with someone and you're in it every single day, every single day on the day, it's different. And you have to be mindful of caregivers that take care of loved ones, because when they're in it every single day, it is so difficult. It is difficult. Hang on. Please know that, yes, Larry sees my post. Larry is deaf. Larry does not watch my lives. He might read comments, but he does not watch my lives. He can't hear thunder. He has trouble seeing. And sometimes as a caregiver, I find myself venting to you like I do Shane. And I'm like, "Y'all, this happened." And it's because caregivers go through a lot. And if you judge me by things that I say, you know, about him, or if you think I'm mean, or this is what I say. until you've walked in someone else's shoes, don't cast your opinion, and don't judge. And if there's a situation where you're concerned about something someone says or whatever, pause and break it down before you react. And the thing is with that message is I am glad she sent it to me. I'm not glad that she said that she thought I was going to do it to kids and handicapped people. I'm not happy with that, but I'm happy that she took the time to send me that message, because it made me, sometimes as a caregiver or a daughter, whatever, as a loved one, sometimes we don't realize our tone towards our family. And sometimes we need a wake up call. And her sending me that message was a wake up call to me. So I'm glad that she sent it to me, because it made me go, am I ugly? Was that ugly? And I did not go back and listen to the message. I didn't. I just deleted it. I just deleted the whole video, because I was like, if she thinks that, does somebody else think that? And that's what prompted me to talk about it today, is because the last thing I want is for a subscriber or a follower to think that I would be ugly to a handicapped person or a kid. That really hurts me, because I do not believe that I come across as the person that would do that. I do feel like that person that sent me that, I do believe that she should apologize for saying that. But I'm not mad at her. I just believe that she didn't pause and break it down. But not everyone has counseling under their belt. Not everyone knows to pause and break something down. You know what I mean? Not everyone has years of counseling to know how to do that. I'm not mad at her over it. I'm hurt that she would say that, but that's not my focus of her message. My focus of her message was that I was ugly to Larry and I embarrassed him. And I'm glad she sent me that part, because I was doing it to exercise his mind, but I can see where it came across as, that I embarrassed him and was ugly. I can see that. So I need to be more careful in the way that I approach exercising his mind. Maybe I should go get him some crossword puzzles versus me try to make him figure out what I'm cooking. So I'm very thankful that she sent that part of the message. And I do believe the first part of her message was sincere, and I think she meant right. I think she meant well. But as she was writing it, I do believe that she went to Mars when she got to the point where she said that I would treat handicapped people and kids that way. I believe she was not in her right. Like, I believe she was in Mars. But do I judge her for that? No, because I went to Mars too when she said it. So I can't be mad at her, because I did the same thing she did. The only difference in me and her was I paused and broke it down and didn't attack her. I didn't attack her. I paused and said, "Can we talk on the phone?" Because sometimes when you text someone, you take things the wrong way. And I wanted her to hear my voice and my tone, and I wanted to hear her. I wanted to say thank you for bringing that to my attention. And I was going to tell her that I went to Mars first. But I was going to thank her for sending me that message. But see, when someone sends their opinion like that, but then don't let you respond, I can't respond. Like, so you say that to me and block me, and I can't say anything. I can't tell you why I do the things that I do. I can't tell you. I just have to just live with the fact you said it and block me. But maybe it was, if I broke that down, maybe it's weird to her that a creator would want her for me to call her, because normally that wouldn't happen. I will tell you this. Other creators do not talk to subscribers on the phone, especially when they get messages like that. But me being a people pleaser, I care what people think. I care. And if I come across that I would treat a kid or a handicapped person like that, then I do need to talk out loud, and I do need to do a live about it, because that's the last thing that I want to do, is come across as if I would mistreat a handicapped person or a kid or even my dad. I would never mistreat my dad. But again, when you live with your family members, sometimes you talk rough. You do. You do it too. We all do it. Mom, why are you doing this? Why did you send money to this person? Mom, why are you know what I mean? That's just what we do. But you wouldn't say that to me. It's just what we do. All right, guys, I hope that you learned something today, because I did. I learned from that message, and it was a good topic for me to talk about. And I think it's something that we all need to hear, because so many times people throw an opinion on you and then you go to Mars. Don't be like your Aunt Judy. Don't go to Mars. But understand that going to Mars is kind of normal, but staying in Mars is when you get yourself. Going to Mars is normal for a human being. We're humans. But staying in Mars is where you get yourself in trouble. So once you go to Mars and realize, wow, Mars is a crazy place, pause, break it down. After you break it down, go for the facts and the myths. Did she say I was a piece of crap daughter? No, she didn't. She didn't say that. Judy said that. That's what Judy said. So write down your facts and your myths, and then you can communicate. But if you communicate right off the bat, you're going to go to Mars and you're going to be speaking for Mars, and you're going to say the most hateful things, and you're going to miss your blessing and what you're supposed to be learning, because you're left in Mars and you're not here on Earth. And so I hope that y'all learned something today. I know I did. I'm going to put my glasses on for just a second. Carol, do you like my shirt? All right, guys. Today is Wednesday. Today is hump day. It's going to rain here in Alabama. And sometimes when the weather's like it is, thank you, Diane. Sometimes when the weather's like it is, you find yourself wanting to stay in the bed, or you're wanting to sit it out because the weather's bad, and you want to sleep. And I've said sometimes sleeping is dancing, because sometimes you got to learn to listen to your body, and your body needs proper rest. But there's ways you can dance staying at home, sitting on your couch. There's ways you can dance. And I hope that the lesson you learned today, I hope that you'll carry it on and talk to other people about it and teach them to dance, because what I'm teaching you is what has changed my life. Do I know it all? No. Am I going to make mistakes? Yes. Just know that I should not be held at a higher standard. And I had someone tell me that before. You're held at a higher standard, so you belong. No, I'm sorry, but I'm not I'm not a preacher. I'm not I'm not a police officer, a fireman, or a counselor, or a doctor. I'm Judy. I'm Aunt Judy. Aunt has, just because I'm Aunt doesn't mean that I need to be held here, because I'm a human being. I'm just like you. I'm going to make mistakes. Okay? Be kind. I love you guys. I hope you dance.